New information coming to light in the case of two deadbeat-ass parents near Baton Rouge, Louisiana, charged in a severe case of neglect. Sheila and Clay Fletcher are now out of jail after being indicted on second-degree murder charges. Their 36-year-old daughter died in a way no one should. She literally marinated in a couch for years.
For basically letting their daughter, who had autism, rot away on a sofa, they believe, for possibly 12 years. Our sources think that she wasn't dead for very long. The parents were out of town the weekend before she was found, and they had called saying that their daughter was unresponsive. Basically, he could tell it was just utter neglect. Literally, her legs were embedded into the sofa. She had open wounds to the bone from her feet all the way to her buttocks, and essentially had gnats and maggots all around her body. I guess they were just immune to the smell after living in the filth for so long. Human waste, urination, feces, all on those wood floors. One of her causes of death was starvation, and they said she was so hungry she was actually eating parts of the sofa around her. During her autopsy, they found sofa foam inside her stomach along with feces. Feces were in her nostrils, they were in her mouth, in her hair. Just a horrific, horrific case.
I am the Mademoiselle, and this is my channel, and today we're going to be talking about something that you guys have actually suggested that I talk about for a very long time, and that is the abuse of people who are mentally and physically disabled. Now, this is very tough topic, and I'm going to tell you guys right now, if you are easily disturbed, if you are very emotional right now, this video is not for you. But I have over 600 other videos that you can watch, so please just go watch something else. I'll see you for the next video. Now, as you guys can see from the clip that you guys just watched, this is the most horrific, disgusting thing I probably ever heard of in my life. But the sad reality is this happens a lot. It is the reality of many people who are disabled. And also understand that when it comes to being disabled, it's not just physical disabilities. There's cognitive disabilities, there's other types of disabilities that a lot of people may not honestly see as disabilities. So I'm going to have to read off of my phone for a little bit, so please forgive me. Now, disabilities are classified according to 6 types: hearing, vision, cognitive, ambulatory, self-care, and independent living. Also understand that mental illnesses also fall under lots of different disabilities as well. And if you are watching this video and you have certain type of mental illnesses that do kind of prevent you from working, especially for like long periods of time, you can qualify for Social Security. Those mental illnesses include things such as anxiety, bipolar, schizophrenia, and other disorders that I know a lot of you guys have heard of. A lot of you guys may not know this. I actually found out about this a couple of years ago. So if you guys are really like going through it and you've been diagnosed and it's really like something where like it's plaguing you from working and just being an active member of society, you can definitely look into that. Everything that I'm going to be mentioning in this video is going to be linked down below. Now, I'm going to also be giving you guys a lot of crime stats, and I'm also going to have to read off my phone for this as well. Now, what's really sad about these statistics is this only comes from crimes reported to the police. This does not include crimes that are not reported to the police. Persons with disabilities were victims of 26% of national violent crimes, while accounting for 12% of the population. The rate of the violent victimization against persons with disabilities is 46.2 per 1,000 age 12 or older, was almost 4 times the rate of persons without disabilities, 12.3 per 1,000. One of the 3 robbery victims, 33%, had at least one disability. Persons with cognitive disabilities had the highest rate of violent victimization, 83.3 per 1,000 among the disability times measured. 90% of R words or SAs against persons with disabilities were reported to the police, compared to 36 of those against against persons without disabilities. Now, in this video, keep in mind, we're mainly going to be discussing those with disabilities where they have to rely on others for their daily care, because those are the people that are mostly susceptible to abuse. But understand, everyone with a disability is mostly going to be abused in their lifetime one way or another by a caretaker, a family member, or just someone in society, because those who have disabilities are usually talked down on, looked at as a burden, and just overall, just the stigma in society of having a disability, we all know, is a negative one. So it's just really sad, because when you really look into this, it's really not talked about as much, and it's just really heartbreaking. This story overall, like, when I'm telling you, like, I probably almost cried, because I was just like, how do you have a daughter that has autism and you let her get to this state that she's literally sitting here eating the stuffing from the couch? She literally has lesions in her leg. Like, child, like, it's the neglect. You have a child, regardless if you're the caretaker or not for your child, you should always care for them and love them and protect them. You know, it just doesn't make sense to me. When you look at this from the outside looking in, even if the person has a disability or not, the first question is always why? Like, why would someone abuse someone with a disability? What is going on in your head? Why would someone go and do something like that to someone with a disability in the first place? So the first thing is, of course, they are defenseless, right? They're very voiceless in society. They are the type of people that when you do something to them, most of them either can't say anything due to their disability, or they're afraid to say something because of their disability, or when they do say something, they're not going to be believed because of their disability. So they're very powerless in a lot of senses, depending on who they are and who their caretaker is. So this makes them very susceptible to abuse. So this is why a lot of times this is not talked about, because again, not only is a lot of this abuse not really reported until it's way too late, but it's just sad because a lot of these caretakers and these relatives and these friends or whatever the case may be do abuse their power. A lot of people who are caretakers or abusers or whatever do this, and they kind of feel like whatever cognitive or physical disability that this person has, it is like their fault. They genuinely feel like, okay, well, they made me do this to them. It's twisted, but this is a thing. Now, this is often referred to as caregiver or caretaker stress. And a lot of times these caregivers or caretakers, family members, friends, or whoever is taking care of these people are usually like genuinely stressed. Of course, this is no excuse for what they're doing, but they genuinely feel like, you know, they're entitled to do this to these people in some twisted type of way, either because they were brought up this way and they feel like this is the way they handle it. They feel like the way that they're acting because of their disability, you know, enables them to act this way towards them with violence, because that's how they were taught to handle issues in their upbringing. There's a lot that actually really goes into it. Now, there's different forms of abuse when it comes to this type of discussion. Now, of course, there's mental and psychological abuse, there's financial abuse, there's systematic abuse, there's sexual abuse, economic abuse, genuine, just blatant neglect, which all can include things such as punching, hitting, withholding financial documents or financial liberties, such as not letting the patient get a job, sitting there and forcing the patient to do sexual acts, systematically making decisions for this person that doesn't allow them to be free in any way, shape, or form, or institutionally doing this as well. I think we all kind of have the gist of what these types of abuses are. Now, what's crazy is about 33% of these abusers are actually family, friends, caregivers, or service providers. And it is estimated that about 67% of people who abuse someone with severe disabilities access them through their work with disability services. So this is very serious, and this needs to be talked about. It's ridiculous how many stories I've heard of people hitting, kicking, literally throwing their patients around. Crazy enough, I actually grew up with someone who was arrested for stabbing, sadly, killing one of their patients who was elderly. Now, elderly people are also people that are very susceptible to violence from their caregivers or their family members. Now, we all know older people also can have disabilities. They're also just really kind of older and frail, and they usually do need assistance from people. And a lot of times their families do hire people to take care of them, or sometimes their family are just paid by Medicaid or the state or whoever else to take care of them, whatever case may be. In this case, the person that I grew up with was hired by like, I believe it was like a nursing aid type of company. You know how that is, like CNA type shit, to take care of them. And from what I understand, from what the news article said anyhow, she was getting into an argument with her, and apparently this patient was extremely rude to her. Now, this is something that I usually see on a regular basis when it comes to people getting into arguments with people who are elderly or disabled, or like have like some sort of issue. It's always nurses getting into these arguments with these patients because they say they're like ridiculously rude. Listen, I'm not making excuses. This is just what I usually see, okay? So allegedly they got into a really big argument, and the patient grabbed the knife and tried to come at her with the knife, and sadly she grabbed the knife from her and ended up stabbing her in the altercation, and the lady did die. So now I believe she's going to trial, and I believe she might get life in prison for it. But I mean, it might be self-defense, but I don't think there's self-defense in New Jersey. I'm not sure. You guys might have to not quote me on that. I'll probably look it up. I don't know. Understand, like, I get that sometimes it may be very difficult to deal with someone that has these disorders, that has these problems, that has these mental issues, that is older and probably harder to deal with, but that's part of the job as being a nurse, a caregiver, a family member of someone that has these issues. And I really wish that people would understand that before they take these types of jobs. You will deal with a very high level of disrespect or a very high level of resistance, because you're not dealing with regular people. You know, you're not dealing with bad people, you're not dealing with horrible people, but you're not dealing with regular people who are going to react regular. You know, they're going to have very difficult days. Some days they're going to be just fine, some days they're not going to be just fine, and you're going to have to deal with that because you're fine, okay? You're deemed as fine enough to take care of these people, and you have to be able to take the moral road, the high road, and also understand that you can't be out here lashing out and hitting people and stabbing people when they do goofy shit to you. Now, in this case, I ain't gonna lie, God forbid the old lady would have stabbed her, that would have been bad. But in this case, I did hear that the lady was also being racist and threatening to kill her and saying a lot of like crazy shit to her. I wouldn't know what to do. I'm not even gonna lie, I would not know what to do in that type of situation. I probably just ran out the house and called it a day. But who knows? It could have been a very, very compromising type of situation. So like at the end of the day, like it's really scary because there's so many situations where you might have to do something and neglect your moral compass. So a lot of you guys who want to go into that field or think, because I know there's a lot of people that go into that field because, oh, it's easy money. I'm gonna be a CNA because it's easy money. I'm going to go into the mental health field because it's easy money. It's the job that, you know, was hiring at the time. Oh, I'm gonna do this nursing major because it's a lot of money. You're not gonna be dealing with easy situations all the time. You're gonna be dealing with difficult situations. People may die in your hands. You're gonna be wiping poop. You're gonna be probably getting hit, spit on, screamed at. It's not gonna be an easy situation. And if you can't deal with that, if you can't deal with disrespect, if you can't deal with like literally like crazy situations, maybe that's not the job for you. I can never understand why people would like literally do these jobs and think it's gonna be easy. There's been so many situations I've seen of people getting caught on camera doing all types of crazy shit, and I'm like, yeah, like maybe you should quit if this is not the job for you. Like, it's just really, really sad because people really should understand that they like really can't just be doing shit like that. Like, I know it's hard, but these people are not right in the head, okay? A lot of these people really need help. That's why they have a caregiver, they have a caretaker, they have a nurse. And I'm not making an excuse for people, because I'm the type of person, I'm like, you know, your mental illness should never be an excuse as to why you act a certain way. But these people, when they're acting a certain way to the point where they need a caregiver, they need someone to take care of them to do daily tasks, they're beyond literally holding them a certain amount of accountable. So you have to understand that before you take those types of jobs. So of course, let me know what you guys think about this down below. Let me know what you guys think about that story, because I think that's wild and absolutely disgusting. Like, at this point, like, why would you even like keep your child if you know they're autistic and you didn't want to take care of them? Granted, she was older, but like still, why didn't you place her into like a caregiver type of facility or something? Because this is just sad. She should not have been left in that home to go through that, because I can imagine how she probably fell in that couch. Like, she literally melted into the couch. Like, that's just horrible. Like, that shit just pissed me off beyond belief. So of course, like I said, let me know what you guys think about this down below. Make sure you guys peep the description box, and of course make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, do all that, and I'm gonna see y'all next time. Bye.